Hey, hello. What it do? What it do? Y'all know what it is. It's Friday. So that means it is Film Review Friday. And this week, it feel like we've been waiting on this doggone movie for decades. But really, it's been about a year. And we all know um, how it went last year with movies. So no really big ones besides I think Tenet. That might have been the biggest movie that came out last year. But yeah, Dune. It was supposed to come out last year. Uh, it didn't. It came out actually yesterday. So yesterday, if you wanted to see Dune a day early, preview day, then you would have gone yesterday, sort of like I did. Hey, Clarence, you would have went yesterday if you wanted to see it just a tad bit early, or you would have just turned on HBO Max. Oh, I hope y'all didn't do that. If you did, you might want to go ahead and check into going to see that at the theater. So I got that out of the way, and unfortunately, this is not going to be all smiles and roses about this movie. Wasn't a bad movie. We're going to get into what we're going to call right now the business part of the show. The business. About to give you the business. All right, so as we talk about the business side of this show, it is based on the 1965 novel by Frank Herbert that is Dune. Y'all do realize that's what I'm talking about. I'm sorry if I got a little ahead of myself. I'm excited. So, it's based on this 1965 novel by Frank Herbert. This novel, I didn't read it, and I'm surprised because I was a big reader when I was younger, and this would have been right up my alley. So I'm shocked that I did not read this book, but it makes me want to. And now that I can't see, maybe I can get it on what do you call it, Audible. This book was said that it could never be adapted. It is an unfilmable novel. That is what people thought back in the 60s and 70s, and I'm sure you can understand why. Um, the scale that you were going to need to adapt a book that was doing the world building that Dune was doing back in the day, it would have taken some technology, and we wasn't there yet. We just weren't there yet. However, somebody was, I guess, ballsy enough to try, and that was David Lynch in 1984. I didn't see that movie. I don't know where I was. I was 9. I don't know. No, I was 11. Yeah, I was 11. I don't know where the heck I was. I was outside playing or something. But I didn't see Dune. And over the years, it just never spoke to me as you must see this movie. Let me make sure I don't have nobody on Facebook because I'm a neglectful host at times, and I don't want to be that. Uh, and it's taking me to get vocal. Nope, nope, I don't want to be there. I don't know. Am I coming across? Is anybody watching me on? I guess you wouldn't be able to tell me, huh? There I am. Yeah, that's me. So, anywho, uh, yeah, I don't have nobody over there anyway. Um, where was I? What was I saying? David Lynch. David Lynch attempted to make this movie in 1984. And now let me tell you about that 1984 movie. Still hanging into the business side of things. We are in the year 10191, by the way. So we are deep future, deep future. But anywho, that movie in 1984 came out on December 14th in theaters. It came to streaming services on August 16th, 2011, but I'm pretty sure you didn't care. The runtime was 2 hours, 17 minutes, and it was not it wasn't well received by, I guess, by the critics, and that's kind of who you want to receive a movie of this scale and this scope. You want it to be received well by the critics. Let's see. The critics said, "Hey, that's me. I don't want to see me. I want to see, I want to see this. How do I do that? Mm-mm. No, I don't want to see me. So let's just go ahead and take that out because that was confusing. Uh, Let me see if it's going. No. Okay, we'll try. We'll try while I'm talking to fix some crap. Notice I didn't freak out. There was a time I would have freaked out. But yeah, this original Dune movie, the one that was based on the novel by Frank Herbert, the one that was directed by David Lynch, didn't do well. Rotten Tomatoes, in fact, I'll just tell you since I can't show you, 45% on the tomato meter from the critics. And because the challenge was laid out there, it's like, this is an unfilmable movie. Of course, you want the critics to like your movie because you want to feel like you succeeded doing something that people said could never be done. But unfortunately, the first Dune didn't do it for the critics. Uh, and it had a good roster of talent. It was Cal McLaughlin played Paul Atreides. I thought I was going to mess that up, but that's the character that Timothy Chalamet is playing, and he did pretty good. I liked Timothy as that in that role. Sting played Fade Rotha. I don't know who that is. Francesca Annis played Lady Jessica. So basically, I guess the names weren't as big as this one, as this particular rendition, iteration of Doom. So, the first try again, 1984. Then there was like a made for TV miniseries. And honestly, I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't look real far into how or who was behind that. I don't think it was good, and I didn't see it. So, I said all that to say that this is my introduction to Doom. Patrick Stewart. How did I forget to say Patrick Stewart? He was in the made for TV one, Clearance. But yeah, I said all that to say I don't have a clue. Didn't have no knowledge whatsoever of what I was getting myself into when I walked my little happy butt into the theater yesterday. But let me tell you, this thing, this thing was, first of all, Denis Villeneuve. Hey, Mrs. Lark, how are you? I'm going to derail my own show for a second. I, did you guys go to see the Broncos versus the Browns? Did the Broncos lose? Y'all need to stay home. Okay, now I'm going to leave you alone. uh, Denis Villeneuve is known for big, bombastic, beautiful, flipping, incredible looking pictures. The 1984 version. Thank you, Clarence. See, you're more prepared than I am. uh, yeah, he makes these big, huge, beautiful movies. The last one that I am 100% aware of was that Blade Runner 2049. So Denis Villeneuve was up to the challenge to film this unfilmable movie. D said, "You're good." Yeah, they lost. I was leaving the movies yesterday. I had to walk past that bar, and they had the TVs there, and I looked up, and I was like, oh, that's the game that D is at. So I kept looking. Jimmy said, "What?" I kept looking to see, A, if I saw you guys, because I know you guys were on the 15-yard line, and B, the score. And that score, yeah, sorry. Womp, womp, womp. But anywho, okay. I said I was going to stay on task today, and look at me. This thing is starring literally a Hollywood who's who. Just Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya, Rebecca Ferguson, Oscar Isaac, Jason Momoa, Josh Brolin. He did Arrival too. I like Arrival now. Yeah, you right. Josh Brolin, Stellan Skarsgård. So it had. You need to be on the see, Clarence. You need to be hitting me up on the that vocal. They only showed the Browns fans. Well, they suck. Because I wasn't looking. I looked, but I wasn't looking to see who was who. Anywho, um, so yeah, this thing had everybody in it. It was just like everybody that you could possibly squeeze into a movie and make it make sense. And let me tell you, he made it make sense. This movie was 2 hours and 35 minutes long. It had a budget of right around $165 million. Plus, it had a big advertising push. They put a lot of money in promotion. So we need this to be a big box office draw to even break even on this thing. Of course, the head start that it was given in the international box office really helped. And maybe positive word of mouth is going to get this thing to where we can see it being profitable by the time it ends its run. Um, because unfortunately, it also came out on HBO Max, same day and date, even the preview day, which I did not think it was fair, but I think I went on a mini rant. Where was I? Who was I talking to? Where I just went off about about the movie coming out. Oh, I was talking to Reinhardt. Did a live stream, an impromptu one this week, and Reinhardt was there, and I'm like, they are actually talking about bringing this movie out on the preview day. They're gonna actually hurt the previews for this movie by putting it on HBO Max the exact same day that it went into theaters. I understand that they made a commitment to their fans. WB, if you don't know who I'm talking about. They made a commitment to their fans, and I'm cool with that. You know, you made this commitment, you want to live up to it, but I still think you should give. Oh, Bun, I see you over there. Happy anniversary to you. You're an anniversary follower. I don't know how many years you've been with me, but I love you for it. um, yeah, they then they said they were going to judge whether or not this movie gets a sequel by the fan reaction on HBO Max. And I felt like just choking one of those execs who made that decision. Why would that be the barometer of how you judge a movie that is this magnificent? Because it's magnificent. Okay, I've not held my cards very close to my chest. I'm letting you know that I did like this movie. Um, the projected box office this weekend is $70 million, and let's see. And then it's gonna do big because this is getting something. Oh, thank you, Bunny Bun. This is getting something that a lot of movies from the United States did not get this year, and that is a China release. And I'm still just I suck. How? Why? Let me see. I'm gonna go back here. I think I know how to fix it. I'm a big girl. I'm not gonna cry. But yeah, um, it's getting a China release, which is something that is a whole heck of a lot different than a lot of the movies that we've already talked about this year. And China is expected to really assist. That's not what I was trying to do. China is going to really assist in making this movie at least get close to profitable. I won't say that it's going to definitely make its money back. You know, you can't say that about any movie, but we're talking 30 to $32 million on this opening weekend, and that's that's an admirable performance. Seeing as though the studio that put this movie out is actually shooting it in its foot. So 30 to $30 million. It could be better, but we'll take it, right? But anywho, let's think about this. The budget of this movie was around $165 million. Uh, they're fighting against their own studio by because thing out at they have this thing out on HBO Max. You watched on HBO Max. Sorry, I may try to go see it in the theater this weekend. This is a movie. I have to see it on the big screen. Don't feel bad, Clarence, because I'm going to watch it on HBO Max now that, like, when I get ready to watch it again, I'm going to watch it on HBO Max. I'm not going to keep going to the movies. But the next time I go to the movies, I'm going to make sure that it is one of those, what do they call it? The Dolby Atmos or whatever. Because when I tell y'all, when you're sitting in the theater watching this thing in big old screen, you feel, and I guess that's where I was getting to after I talk about the box office, but you feel this movie. It is so visceral. I can't put into words. Uh, I can because I've written a review, so we'll get to that. But the score was by Hans Zimmer, and you will find out later because I'm going to read my review just the way I wrote it. The score by Hans Zimmer just is so moving. It's a movie that you feel, and usually I'm not paying an awful lot of attention, but this particular time, and it happens, certain chords, parts of the score just will reach me, and I'm sitting there like I'm paying more attention and I'm feeling this music more than I'm even paying attention to what is happening on the screen. But it all goes together so well. You hear that flipping ice cream truck? What time is it? 7:15 and it's dark. They need to stop with the ice cream truck. Anywho, this thing, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. I'm so excited to talk about it, but you guys might be mad at my rating for it. But I have a reason. I always do. So yeah, we're getting that China release. That's gonna help things, and I am interested to see how much that helps with making that money up. That's where I was. This movie, 165 million plus, let's say another 160 million or 165 million in promotion. We talking about well over $300 million. That's a lot of flipping money. Last week's big box office winner uh, cost $20 million to make. So Halloween Kills. Now I'm not saying that this was a great movie. You know how I felt about Halloween Kills if you watched the review, but it cost $20 million to make. So it's real easy to make your money back when it only costs $20 million. And I know that's a lot of money to me and you. I know, but it is a drop in the bucket for a studio. They could put out 10 of these a year and stay profitable. We're gonna see how easily Dune makes back its budget and its marketing expenses. So, sip of my tea. All right. So, we got through the business. Yay. Did you have fun? I had fun. Now we'll get to the synopsis. Y'all see how I'm adding stuff, right? Okay, I'm doing this for you, so you guys better appreciate this crap. I stay up late at night thinking about this stuff. So, the synopsis. Paul Atreides, I think I'm saying that correct, a brilliant and gifted young man born into a great destiny beyond his understanding, must travel to the most dangerous planet in the universe to ensure the future of his family and his people. As malevolent forces explode into conflict over the planet's exclusive supply of the most precious resource in existence, dilithium. No, it's called spice. Spice. Only those who can conquer their own fear will survive. So, okay. That is our synopsis for this movie. And I guess that tells you what you need to know for this movie, when the movie started, we got the first thing you see is part one, and I'm like, okay, so there's going to be a second part, which, by the end of the movie, you would know that it's going to be a second part. But I got questions. I got questions. And okay, let's get into the review. The review. Now, there, to me, is a certain sophistication in the way that Villeneuve tells a story. He frames his actors so that the audience feels like they are right there in the same room with the players. So I feel like I'm part of this conversation between the Duke and Paul, and I'm right there and listening to the heartfelt way. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. Now, add to that some very elegant scenery. It's no wonder he is one of Hollywood's premier directors. That level of prestige means the best actors and actresses are clamoring to work with him. Hence the star studded cast for Dune. And these stars came to work. The performances were outstanding. I was very convinced that Chalamet was Paul. I never once thought of Thanos while watching Josh Brolin. And for maybe one of the first times, I was impressed with Dave Bautista's acting. I'm taking him a little more seriously from here on because he showed that he's got a little bit of a range that I did not think he had. I'm sorry for underestimating Dave Bautista. Jason Momoa was Jason Momoa, and that has been serving him well. He shows up, he's Jason Momoa, and they give him a big fat paycheck, and the movie makes a whole lot of money. Just Jason Momoa. That's his effect. Let me see. Where was I? Oh, Oscar Isaac. Oscar Isaac, to me, was the sure enough standout. I really loved him as the Duke. I thought his performance was quite masterful. Come on, Momoa was totally Aquaman. I mean, Aquaman ain't Momoa. And what is this? Oh, Bun, you said you saw the first one that came out and loved it. The audience kind of loved that first one. 65% of the audience loved it. The critics did not agree. We're going to see what happens with this one, though, right? Now, I was also connected to the music. Like I was saying, the score grabbed me. It took me emotionally where I needed to be from one moment to the next. And when a film's music leaps at me like that, I automatically think Hans Zimmer. Of course, I'm sometimes wrong. It ain't Hans Zimmer, but that just shows you where the bar is set when I hear big cinematic themes that I actually feel. And I am not playing. I literally felt the music. I felt this movie. Dune is a beautiful piece of cinema. So let's get that out of the way. You guys have heard me say that it was magnificent. I truly enjoyed taking in the splendor of this thing. The worlds felt rich and real and alive, and everything was larger than life. And because I didn't see the original, I didn't read the book, I don't have a baseline like where I should be, where we should be in this story after 2 hours and so many minutes. So I can't compare with the 1984 film or the 2000 miniseries. I did have issues with the movie, and then I guess I wouldn't put an S on the end of this. It's just one issue. And the issue to me is because I'm not familiar with the lore, and I don't have that baseline like I was talking about, the movie felt incomplete. And of course, we know that there's a sequel in the works. It said right at the beginning, part one. So we know that there's another part coming. But it felt truly anticlimactic. For an example, I'm going to take for you Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. Now, as beautiful as those movies were, they don't touch what Denis Villeneuve has done here. However, what Infinity War and Endgame did well is that those two movies, out of those two movies, one of them was incomplete, and it wasn't Infinity War. So Infinity War had a definite start, a definite end, and anybody could have watched that movie and got some entertainment value out of it. So you think I'm fine with the lore? You don't remember it either, Clarence? I don't. I can't even say I don't remember it. I never saw this stuff unless I just forgot, which would mean I don't remember, which would mean that I shouldn't have went off on this whole tangent. I'm sorry, but anywho, yeah. When you look at it, Infinity War, it had a definite beginning, it had a definite end. You could see that movie and have walked away feeling like you've seen a complete movie. Then we know, as fans of the franchise, that there had to have been a second part coming. There was no way that we were going to get left the way we were. So the second movie was the incomplete movie. It was the movie that if you didn't see the first movie, you were going to be kind of lost of what was going on in Endgame. I said that because with this set of movies, this first movie does not feel complete. The place that we left off, it wasn't. There was no resolution to any situation to me in that in the way this movie left off, and now I have to wait until whenever they get through with this next movie to see how this thing ends. Or I'm going to start cheating and start looking other places. And I really don't want to do that. I really do want to allow myself to finish this movie out and be surprised at how it ends. Uh, the film also it was 2.5 hours long. And at 2.5 hours long, I kind of expected them to find an endpoint that would make me say, "Oh, I got to see the next part of this movie." Clarence says, "I think you're right. Dune fumbled the cliffhanger in last act." Yeah, I was just like, okay, it ended right after this. I don't want to spoil anything, and and I know D and Jimmy just got back, from seeing the Broncos lose. But happy birthday, Jimmy, by the way. Happy birthday. I know you get sick of me. but but yeah. So I know they probably haven't had the opportunity, and I'm coming to that, Clarence. I know they haven't had the opportunity to see it, so I can't talk like about details, but like Clarence just said in the chat, part two hasn't even been greenlit yet. So you have a movie that is obviously supposed to be a two-part movie. Uh, Obviously, it says part one right at the beginning of the freaking movie. The movie ends on a stinking cliffhanger that doesn't make sense to me. And finally, you've got a studio that's saying we're going to judge the performance of this movie by how it performs on HBO Max. Oh, okay. Tell them you're welcome. I had to pause for effect. HBO Max is you judge your series and you judge movies that were made that particular brand of media. You don't judge Dune by how it performs on HBO Max, and that is another problem. So I recommend watching it. It's a beautiful movie. It's a spectacle. I recommend it, even if it means committing to a part two that they have not even started filming yet. This is a movie that should already be in production. There is no way you thought this movie was not going to do well. Excuse me. at the box office if you didn't screw the pooch the way that you did with the release of this thing. So I don't know. At the end of the day, out of my regular five, because I guess I've got to rate it something, huh? Out of my regular five, I give this a 3.5, and it's only because of the stupid studio, because we don't know if we're going to get an end to this movie, and also because of the way Villeneuve left it, even though he knew he was dealing with some idiots, and he should have, well, between him and the studio and everybody, they should have been in production with part two. We should not have to wait a number of years to get the second part of this movie based on the way that it ended. Even with Avengers Infinity War to Endgame, it was a 1 year wait. And that wait was far too long. And as excited and as beautiful and as lovely and as just everything that you love about fantasy sci-fi is right here in this movie. Clarence, you went up in me with a 4 out of 5. See, I'm still mad at the way this thing was handled. I really am, and I know that it's not the movie's fault, but that is taking away from the enjoyment of this movie for me. I just can't. I can't get with how they left it. And I'm so mad. I was talking to my friend when I got out of the movies. First, when I got in the car, my son picked me up from the movies, and I'm sitting there like, he was like, "Well, how was the movie?" And I'm like, I don't even know how I feel about this movie. Then we rode all the way home. I get in the house. I have to call my friend because, that's the friend that I've been asking everybody to pray for. So she's out of the hospital. So I've been burning her ear up for some time now. And she asked me how was the movie. And I said the same thing. I'm still not sure how I should feel about this movie. And as it stands, I sat down, and after me and her talked for a little while, I was like, you know what? I liked the movie. It was a good movie. It just wasn't a whole movie. It was just part of a movie. And now I'm looking for the second part of the movie. Of course, the critics enjoyed Dune from Denis Villeneuve. They gave it an 83%, and the audience loved it even more. They gave it a 93%. They are not being as, I guess, stubborn as I am about holding them over the fire. And there's my review. If you if you guys were ever interested, I do review on Rotten Tomatoes. So yeah, it was just when you have this group of people. This was just literally, I couldn't believe how stacked this thing was. I could not believe. And I mean, even with me talking about it prior to seeing the movie, this thing is stacked. Truly stacked. And WB just, okay, you messed up in one arena. Why are you doubling down on where you messed up at? I'll never get it. I'll never understand why they setting this man up to fail. But that's what they're doing. Saying that it is part one is a promise. They should be ashamed of themselves that they haven't greenlit the next one. Absolutely. Especially when that's the first, that's like, besides whatever that was talking about your dreams, it was like a little quote at the beginning, and then the WB logo rolls, and then the next thing you see is part one. But the fact that stayed in the movie, if you weren't sure, take the part one out and find a satisfying way to end this first chapter, and then I'll go back. I'm going back anyway. If I'm here, y'all know I'm going to see the second movie. I'm talking junk. Y'all know I'm going to see the second movie. But yeah, they they did not do well with, to me, for them saying all the money that they put into marketing, and then they said, well, now we put all this money into marketing, let's get a barrel and just set it all on fire. That's basically what they've done with Dune. I loved it, for what I was seeing, but then the fact that I only got half the movie. I sat there for damn near 3 hours. I had to use the bathroom. I only had a little thing of popcorn. I've got a lot of complaints that have nothing to do with the movie, but I sat through it because I'm like, something satisfying is going to happen. And then we'll pick up in the next movie at, a point after this very satisfying moment. But no, no, didn't happen. I have to laugh. I hear my son on the other side of this wall playing that video game, and it frustrates him. But anywho, that was my thoughts of Dune. You guys have anything? You guys going to see it if you haven't seen it, or you going to check it out at the movies? Which I truly, despite the fact that me and Clarence, and probably Lysandra too, the fact that we've all sat here and said we gonna watch it on HBO Max, or we already have. Besides the fact that we just said that, I do strongly recommend going to see this in like the biggest, loudest place ever. Y'all know that I complain a whole lot about not being able to hear out of one ear and my vision being poor. So okay, I felt this movie. It was made for a person just like me. And it's just so upsetting that they're not going to treat it like, I guess the prize that it is. This movie is freaking beautiful, and they acting like it is season 3 of Titans. It's bothering me that they're giving this kind of treatment. Yeah, so let me know if you're gonna watch it tomorrow, Bun. Well, I'm gonna probably watch it again. Let me say, tomorrow I've got it's gonna be a long one tomorrow, and I am not gonna get into any of this stuff that has happened because I'm gonna save it for tomorrow. There are maybe a few people who don't want to go into that side, but I know that all of us are itching to talk about it, and we will tomorrow at 3. And tomorrow at 3 we'll be doing the weekly wrap up, and maybe after that I'll watch Dune again. I told Lysandra, she was the one that I was talking to, and telling how I didn't know how I felt, but I was like, I'm gonna watch the old one. And she was like, yeah, it's good. Go ahead and watch it. I still haven't watched it. I was supposed to do that, so I haven't done it yet. I'm going to watch the old one, and then I'll be able to, the only thing about the old one is it's going to have a different ending, and then I'm going to know too much. So y'all let me know. Yeah, it come on. It's on HBO Max. I've been telling you, sis. I know you got HBO Max. Yeah, you got to see it. It's beautiful. I wish I was there. We go to the movies. I don't care if we got plug in stuff. We got to do whatever we got to do. You would get one day out the house to go to the movies. But yeah, so if nobody has any questions, comments, concerns, anything, I think that's where I'm going to leave it today. It was a great movie. It should have been treated better by the studio, and it only disappointed me in being too short. I think I would have sat in the movies for 5 hours to see how this thing ends. I would have. I really would have. I would have got up and went to the bathroom real quick and came back. I would have sat and watched a 5-hour movie. And if the next one comes out and they decide to do a double feature, I will go and I will sit through the whole thing, because I think that this movie was absolutely beautiful. It was just mishandled. And with all that being said, I've got nothing else. I hope you join me tomorrow for the weekly wrap up at 3 p.m. Central on all the same places: Get Vocal, Facebook, and YouTube. And yeah, we got some stuff to discuss. Lots. So I will see everybody tomorrow. And you guys be safe. Catch you at the movies. Peace.